the Christmas Carol-esque nature of what they're trying to do here feels very it feels very off the mark, because they're trying to show that Georgiou has changed as a person, but they're doing that through showing that she didn't kill her daughter when her daughter revolted against her, but what she did do is torture her for apparently months, based on how long she said she was there for.
3 months.
Tortures her for months while we're getting this like voiceover about a bright future, and she tortures her into subservience. And then like that's supposed to be good.
Yeah,
like that's supposed to be a admirable trait that she shows. She
has the line, that's the only way to get your point across in the mirror universe, right? Is that in the mirror universe, the only thing that people respond to is strength. So what does she change then? I would say she doesn't change anything. That's right. What's really strange about it to me, is that, as you're saying, she tortures Michael. She has Michael, so she essentially condones what Michael does, which is to kill everyone else who's been plotting against her. And she does that in the dramatic comm badge scene where she tosses things in slow motion. And the horrible CG on that, or at least the ignoring physics, when they throw a heavy metal thing, it just lands on the desk and doesn't skitter anywhere, it just sits right where it lands. And then she goes back to the Guardian at the end, and she's rewarded for this. What she did was apparently the right thing, which is to protect Michael in the mirror universe. And so she doesn't bring anything to the mirror universe, because their setup there is that the mirror universe is unchangeable. You can't change the perspective of what the mirror universe is, because it's a universe where morality is just upside down, and the only way to get anything done is to engage in the cruelty of it. It's kind of like the criticism of Rage Against the Machine, where people will always say like, well, if you're so anti-capitalist, why do you sell your CDs? And they'll go, sure. you have to exist in the capitalist system to make some money, and then you can do whatever. It's the same. I guess it's that argument here, but I don't know what that just makes everything irrelevant to what you do. So what's the point of trying to do anything? And if you can't change it, why does the Guardian care at the end that she tried, and she didn't even really try? She engaged in the mirror universe's heavy-handed awfulness.
And even when she's like, but I killed my daughter, he's like, you didn't have any choice. It's like, what?
She came at you.
You were backwards against the wall. What were you supposed to do? Talk your way out? So it's not... She's killing her the first time because her back was against the wall, bad. Killing her this time because her back was against the wall, and she's caused the entire crew to collapse on itself. That was good. That was fine.
Yeah. It's really strange. I just don't know what she... it all really comes down to just like the arc for this character is nonsense. There's no arc. There's no, you don't even need a story. Like, I think people sometimes get confused about character growth. They use the word growth is, I think, the wrong interpretation of what you are supposed to do with a character sometimes. Like, characters do not need an arc of change to be a full character. Tony Soprano did 6 seasons of not changing, and that's the point of it. It's like he's put into different situations, and the character experience shows you what his character is, what his true nature is through these things. But he's always the same. He never grows. Same with Cranston is kind of the same, or in Breaking Bad, where it's revealing what's truly underneath him as a character as you strip away things from him. So it's more about developing a character than it is growth of a character. Growth is the wrong term for some things like that. And I think Georgiou...
I was just gonna say I agree, but I also think that growth is developing a character and then showing how their responses to things change. It's Tony Soprano.
They don't always change though. Some characters are just immovable, but it doesn't mean that they are poorly developed characters. So if you want to distinguish between growth as a character changes over the course of the thing, my criticism is always that people will say if there is no growth, it's not well written. I don't think that's true. You can have a character who does not change at all, and you can be an extremely well written character in that regard, just by how you interact with the settings and the situations that you're put into.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So Georgiao's arc is set up for growth in this case. I think that the character is better designed to show character experience and how the mirror universe, if the mirror universe is unchangeable, how taking a person from one thing into the other is a philosophical grounding of what you want the show to be and what you think that Georgia's purpose as a character here is to show you the wrong way of things, essentially. They set her up as growth, and they write the ending of her story as if she has grown, but she did not grow. She didn't have a chance to change anything over the course of her experiences because they never gave her screen time, except if she was walking around calling people cocksuckers and kicking them in the dick and then saying, like, now I'm on my way. I would have been fine with the first part. If she is a foil to our main characters and her evilness is just the opposite of what they want to do. They do not befriend her. They do not say, you're a good person, Emperor Georgiao. They look at her and say, this is the person we don't want to be. This is the way we can't possibly be. We need to focus on the better than this. That's how Georgiao's an effective tool. Georgiao is not a character in this series. She was never a character. She's never meant anything to it. And now that you got to the end, they want to wrap it up in a bow as if something has changed with her. And she's fundamentally the same character. And they've shown you that the mirror universe can't really adapt to that stuff. And I don't know what the point of that is, except she obviously has to go off and do her own show. So you have to write her out, and you have to set her up with a thing of, in your new show, Michelle Yeoh, you're going to always be trying to be better because the Guardian told you when he sent you off onto this show that you always have to look for the bright side of life and you always have to look for the better in things. So that's really all it is. And they took 2 episodes to do that.